Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Cuddy from the Chicago Humanities Festival. It is so great to be here with you tonight for this program with Abby McEnany and Sam Irby, Work in Progress, Samantha Irby, that is. We are going to have an excellent conversation. This is part of our summer season. It runs through mid-July, so we hope you will check out some of the programs we've already done and come back for some that are upcoming. You can go to chicagohumanities.org to find out more. Hopefully you might think about donating when you're there, or become a member, or if you haven't renewed your membership, this is a time to do that. So check out everything that's there. This is our year of vision. That's our theme for this year. We're doing a lot of programming connected to that. Who are the people who are helping us imagine a different world? And I consider Abby and Sam to be visionaries. They're gonna make us laugh, cry, probably swear. There's gonna be a lot of swearing tonight. So hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Joe Gale, who is doing live captioning for the programming tonight. You will have to translate the swears as you see fit. Thank you also to Seminary Co-op, who is our partner bookseller, independent bookstore in Hyde Park in Chicago. Sam has a new collection of essays out called Wow, No Thank You. So I encourage you to check that out if you haven't already and go to Seminary to buy that book. Abby and Sam are currently writing season 2 of Work in Progress, which is the Showtime series. So to get us all situated, why don't we start by watching the trailer for season 1 of Work in Progress.
I laid out 180 almonds, and every day I'm just gonna throw one away. And if there's one almond left and I don't feel any better, I'm done. I'm out. You know what I mean?
You did not kill your therapist.
I'm pretty sure I did. It was actually a really big deal to me.
Of course, it's just not like your child or something.
Well, I don't have a child.
Thank God, right?
Thank God I don't have a child.
The child that died.
I need to make changes, right? And figure out how to be better.
Abby, this is Chris, the waiter from Daisy's. Your sister gave me your number.
She thinks you're gorgeous. Also, she killed someone today.
What?
Well, not really.
Allison is such a...
I'm a trans man.
I haven't been out with an attractive trans man in ever, so... I've just always been terrified about what's wrong with me, obsessed about why everything makes me anxious.
Chris likes a project, so.
A project?
I will never be
I'm this fat, struggling queer dyke, and that is my identity.
free.
My life is harder than anybody else's!
Can I make a sweeping generalization? You are a much better person than you think you are.
Julia Sweeney from Saturday Night Live, her character Pat, who nobody could tell was a man or a woman, ruined my life. People would always say that I look like Pat.
Did you?
I mean, I wore a lot of overalls.
They're too far under.
Hi, Abby. I'm Julia.
Oh.
I killed my therapist! Oh, come on, that was so mean for you.
All right, great, right? So let's please give a big, warm, messy Chicago welcome to Abby McEnany and Samantha Irby.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm too stupid to even know how to do this. They're going to be like, why did we ask this dummy to host this? Hi, Abby.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Great. I'm so happy to see you.
I am. No.
Thanks for giving me a job. I wanted to acknowledge that right off the bat. Thanks.
Thank you. Are you kidding me?
Big fan, but
all right.
also thanks. Okay, I love the trailer so much, and I was laughing through the whole thing. And the first thing I want to ask is how did you come up with the idea for the show?
I started doing some storytelling, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. Actually, I was, and you're gonna know these names because they were in the writing room with us. I was with Brendan Dowling at our dear friends, Kate James and Steve Walteen's wedding in Vermont. And I got an email from Second City, and they were co-hosting the Chicago Ideas Week. And they have a night of like, before the week before, they have a night. And they were sponsoring that night as well. And it was a night called like My Biggest Mistake. And Second City never called me for gigs or anything. And I get an email and it was like, hey, we're hosting this night of My Biggest Mistake. You want to tell a story? And I was like, out of their fucking like, you know, like group of, I don't know, 800 actors. They're like, failure, get McEnany on the line. And I remember we were, Brendan and I were going to go out with our friend Mike Kaczynski. I'm a name dropper. And we were going to go out and explore the forest or something. And I just looked at him and I was like, I mean, right? Well, and they held my hand so I didn't fall. But I was like, should I do this? And I was like, it's really scary. And Brendan was like, yeah, you should do it. I'm like, I know I should do it. So that was kind of my first storytelling experience. And then I kind of, it was kind of new and it was very freeing in a way, and also protective because you're choosing, you tell true stories, but you're also choosing what to withhold. Anyways, and then I did some more storytelling, and then I did a storytelling show at the IO Theater, rest in peace, in 2016. And my friend Tim Mason came, and we were going to work on something else. Is this too long of an answer? I know.
No, this is
I'm
great.
getting there. And we were going to work on
God, we get it. You're a storyteller.
too many words. And we were going to work on other projects, and he was like, why don't we just like make this a TV show? So I was like, yeah. So that was how it started. And then we started writing, and we shot the promo with the therapist in 2016. And then that one part was shot now 4 years ago. Yeah.
That's incredible. It's not a spoiler, obviously, if it's in the trailer. But like when I saw the trailer and watched the show before I knew you, because I don't know if you know this, but improv, I don't fuck with her. So
you hate it, and you hate improvisers.
No, I don't. I love a select few improvisers. Here's the thing though, like in Chicago, you can't like trip over a hot dog without landing on somebody who like is in an improv group. And then, you know, the thing about you guys who do improv is like bits all the time. Like it's hard to know like when you're like being serious or when you're just yanking my leg. See, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
You're nailing it.
Anyway, so like from the trailer, I knew that I was gonna love the show because I was like, oh, this is my kind of thing. I know from the outset that she is depressed and awkward, and someone died while listening to her talk. This is my person. And then we were like obsessed and watched the first season, and it was tough because it was like you had to wait every week. It wasn't bingeable. It only came out once a week, and I was like, TikTok, where are these episodes? But it was like so good, and it just got better and better and better. And I was like, who is this person? I want to know her, despite the fact that she does improv.
Well, that is the kindest and overwhelming thing. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of yours. And I don't know.
Natural.
I mean, yeah, so I don't know. I'm going to continue reading. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to the meaty, or maybe the original meaty, or, you know, I don't know. Anyways, buy Sam's books.
Don't.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
But that's really kind. And I was gonna like say, oh no, but I can't remember what it was. Classic. And yeah, and when we met, because we have friends in common, and I was so nervous the first time when I reached out, and I was like, I'm a friend of Justin Kaufman's, and keep changing. Yeah, and it was a dream. And then when you just
honestly, those are terrible people. You should have been nervous.
I know, right?
And when I saw those names, I was like, oh,
I know. Well, so far we're counting. Kate's gotten 2 shout outs right now. Make that 3. Anyways, yeah, I mean, and I remember like Lilly and I talked to you last year because we had this like, we didn't have our final deal for season 1 until, but our like co-executive producers were like, y'all better start because if it goes and we think it's going to go, it's going to be a really fast turnaround. So we started writing on April 1st of last year. And I have this like thing about dates and I was like, that's not a good sign. But we started writing and I don't think we got like, we didn't sign or like agree on a deal or whatever until like mid-May maybe. And so we were just like, I hope this works out, you know? And then so we talked to you and then you were too busy working on other stuff. But also it turned out we didn't have a budget, so we wouldn't have been able to pay you anyway. Too much information, probably. Hi.
I'm very expensive. As
you are.
No.
You are, and you're worth every penny.
I mean, honestly, I would work for like a taco and a Pepsi, so.
Never say that out loud. No, she won't, Hollywood. No, she won't.
My agents are like, yeah. Okay.
Say you work for the franchise, and then I'll agree. You know what I was going to say? Oh, sorry, one thing.
No,
there are no spoilers for season 1, Sam. When I said that, it was for the stuff we made up. You're like, I don't want to make any spoilers, but it was in the trailer.
Oh no, but I mean for people who haven't watched the show yet, you know, people are so weird. People are so weird. It could be like 3 years after something's come out, and if you know talk about it, like someone will earnestly be like, spoiler alert. And I'm like,
oh, F it. Fuck that.
I'm like, I was a child when it came out. You should have seen it already.
Also, Weird Al's in the show, so there's a spoiler. There's nothing else we can spoil from season 1, so bring it on.
Okay. I want to talk about making a show about, well, I wrote in my notes, but then I thought this was rude.
I didn't say it anyways.
I wanted to talk about like what it's like as a person. I'll do it to myself first and then I'll ask you. As a person who writes about extreme mental illness, what I wanted to first thank you for making a show about it. We don't have enough shows about depression. We certainly don't have enough shows about depression and other mental illnesses that deal with it in a light way. I did an interview once where the guy was like, how could you be depressed? You're so funny. And I'm like, oh, every funny person you know is extremely depressed.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like thank you for doing that, and also to ask like what it feels like as a person who is like battling with depression, what it feels like to put that out there. Like, does it feel good? Does it feel healing? Does it feel terrifying?
Yeah, I don't think it feels, I would have to say, like when I was writing the stories for the storytelling show, oh, here's another name drop. Guess who directed it? Brendan Dowling. Anyways, what's up?
Everyone in the audience is like, who are these people?
I know, but look,
they're like Googling Brendan. They find out he's a regular improv person.
Zing. There's a certain like safety of like writing about something and then knowing that it's protected in a way of like there's 60 people in the audience, and like I would say in my intro like, hey, I'm a really private person, so let's just keep it in the room. Super hypocritical. I'm going to talk about myself for 55 minutes, but that was the way I could kind of like heal, like, you know, kind of protect my my heart and my brain. And then once this was going on, you know, and we started making it, I would say I would say there were certain things people were like, was it really hard to talk about the Julia Sweeney stuff? I'm like, not at all. Like, it was great. That was super fun. I would say when things get, there's certain topics that get so close that sometimes, like in the room, we were talking about something this season. I was like, I didn't say it, I just like excused myself. Cause a lot of it's like, hey, we have other writers here this season, which is such an amazing gift. Mm-hmm. So you know what, leave it in their hands and then you can look at it, you know, but it was, sometimes it gets a lot. Yeah. And then, and also I really feel like, with Lilly, I can be like, I don't feel comfortable delving into this. And it's always like, as she has my back and the
who's
back
Lilly for the audience?
Lilly
Who is
Wachowski,
Lilly to whum you keep referring?
Lilly Wachowski, who is the reason why the show is being made, because my friend came out of retirement to help us with this show. So
did you know her before?
I did, yeah. I know her partner, and I've known her partner Mickey for over, I think we were trying to figure it out, like 23 or something years. Wow. So I met Lilly on the street corner in Andersonville. It was during the day. It was in front of a hardware store. Classic. Anyways, and I didn't know, I saw Mickey and I hadn't seen him for so long. And then he introduced me to Lilly. I'm like, hi, and I didn't know it was the Lilly Wachowski. And I didn't know that until we were talking about it. We were talking about writing and stuff, and we met for coffee, and I was late, hard to believe. And I was like, hey, I'm running late and I'll be right there. And she's like, okay, let me get your coffee for you. And at the time I was ordering like a $6 coffee. And I was like, I cannot have anybody else order that coffee. That is embarrassing.
Oh, I feel that.
That is pathetic. And I was like, no. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, no, I'm good. And then I got there, and then she's like, and I was like, I'll be right there. And, I stand in the line, get the coffee. She's like, you should have let me order the coffee. I'm like, it's $6. And she's like, well, actually, maybe I should tell you who I am. And I was like, I'm Lilly Wachowski. I'm like, because, and I was like,
you were like, in addition to the coffee, can you buy me a house?
No, I didn't know. But I was like, I don't, because, the way she got horribly outed by the Daily Mail a few years after that, which was horrible. And we could talk about that fucking, it's not my story to tell. Sorry, Lilly, I know she's watching. But anyway, so I didn't know. And then she's like, well, I made Sense8. I'm like, and I was like, I don't know what Sense8 is. It was class. And then she said, my sister and I, we did the Matrix about it. I'm like, oh, okay. So she's like, so next time let me get your coffee. I'm like, deal. That's a lot. But anyway, so I've known Lilly for a long time.
I can't believe, when I first met her, like I almost cried because I knew who she was.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you were like, no, don't get my coffee. If Lilly offered to get me coffee, I'd be like, yes, and can I move in?
And how about a gift card? Yeah, no, it's funny. And like, yeah. And so it was, and I just also really like that I met her and I didn't know who she was, because then, it's a very pure relationship. And I know that she doesn't need to worry that I love her because of that. And I don't need to worry that am I doing this for other, you know what I mean? I don't know. I worry about things a lot, as you know. So I like that part of it.
Did you ask her to work on the show with you, or you told her about it and she was like, hey, I want to get in on this?
Yeah, I specifically never asked her, so Tim and I were working on the pilot and stuff, and I specifically never asked her because she had retired, and she was going to art school and stuff, and I was like, she hates Hollywood. She doesn't want to do this anymore. Like, how dare I ask her for her expertise with something that she has left, Mm-hmm. So I specifically didn't ask her, and we went over to dinner at our friend Hale's house. Me, Mickey, and Lilly were at Hale's house, and then Hale knew about that we were about to shoot the web series, and so he asked about it. I was like, oh, we're shooting for this time, and they were like, Mickey and Lilly were like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, I'm doing this thing, and then she and Mickey asked for that little therapist thing, and then Hale and I ran into them like a week later, and she was like, hey, is it okay if I send it around? I'm like, yeah. And anyways, it was very kismet, like how it worked out. And then our executive producers are with a management company, and that's her management company. So like once our executive producers signed on, they went to their boss, who is Lawrence. Lawrence, and
Lawrence.
So he reached out to Lilly. Is like, do you want to executive produce this? And she was like, okay. I mean, I think she probably regrets that every time.
Now you guys
I know, but it was really kismet, and it's one of those things. It's really hard. Like, I just didn't want to disrespect, and I think people in positions like hers who are true artists and really just want to do the work and the art and are not looking for all this extraneous bullshit that has become part of this experience. I didn't want to disrespect her decision to leave. And I was just like, yeah, no, you know, and so it was really lovely.
How do you decide what stories to tell? Because I assume like, and not to, I know better than to conflate a person who plays a person with their actual life, but some of it comes from your life. So like for the first season, how did you decide what to put in and what to focus on?
I think so. Like when we wrote, so Tim and I, we wrote, you know, our pilot, and you kind of just choose one track, and so we were going back to the story of when I met my my ex-boyfriend Alex in DC, and that, you know, I was in DC for a month doing a show for Second City. It was like 2009, right after the Obama election, and we just met happenstancely. Put that in Webster's, and so, you know, and it was like, so like he was 20 years younger than me. He had just started testosterone. He just started his medical transition. And when I went back to Chicago, he lived 1,000 miles away, you know? So like, there's a lot of fraught stuff in that. And he's also a lovely, lovely human being. So I think we were just like, let's go down that track, you know? I don't know. And then like, you know, once we got, like, we started working on the show, then, you know, you have conversations like, what's the season arc? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
So,
no, those are all words that like mean stuff, but also don't mean anything.
Girl.
Like you're all the time. And it's like, well, I know what this means, but are these real words?
And you know what? It was so funny because like you and another writer in the room, Jess, had like been in writers' rooms before, and somebody was like, well, what about the C storyline? And I started laughing. I was like, oh yeah, we don't really, I mean, maybe there's the A, B, and C storyline, but I never, like, I don't think in that writing.
You're giving me a lot of credit if you think I was the one who was smart enough to bring up a C story.
I mean, I just like, I kind of just do it. I just kind of, you know, we come up with the shit. I don't think like, oh, the structure is we should do this now.
No.
I don't understand it. And it's just not how my brain works.
No, all I do, I'm like, what about this joke? What about that joke? Can we put in that joke? And it's like, Sam, these people like, what's the story? And I'm like, circle back around to me when it's time for a punchline. Okay, I'm gonna give you a compliment.
No.
Okay. Yeah, just a little one.
Okay.
I'll give it to the show in general, not just
okay.
But like it is, and I know like you're a normal person, so you don't like walk around thinking I am doing a revolutionary thing. But the show and its dedication to representation and inclusivity, like, you know that it's revolutionary to be doing what you're doing, right? To have people of all ages. I mean, we could spend an hour talking about what an anomaly it is to watch like a person who's 45 years old have a sex life on TV.
Yeah.
Not to mention a person who is like queer and fat. Like these are all like margins that we don't get to see represented a lot. Not to mention the rest of the cast. I love a show about middle-aged people. That's all I want to watch. Young people are terrifying to me. They're so cool. I don't know what they're talking about. The music they listen to hurts my ears. I don't get their references. All I want is to watch people who are like 47 and 55.
And clumsy.
Yes. And like don't know shit, and they're like sweaty and their hormones are all fucked up. Like that's all I want to watch. And,
I mean,
you know, and the show ticks so many of those boxes, and it truly is like, you know, like, I'm not a person who's like checking a checklist every time I watch a show. Like, I can watch a show with, you know, it's like a bunch of 30-year-old white dudes, who cares? But it is when you see a show like yours where you're like, oh, wait, okay, there's that kind of person and this kind of person, and they're this old and he's that old. And they have full, rich lives, and they aren't like these sort of stereotypes. It really is remarkable to see. And I hope that you know how meaningful it is. There needs to be much more work, and shows like yours need to be the norm. But I do want you to hear in a serious way. Because if I said this to you on the phone, you would think I was joking.
I'm like,
so
fuck off, you bitch.
To say it on video so that people know it's real.
Right.
So I just want to say that. I also want to say and ask, like, because this is a Chicago thing, my favorite thing about season 1 was like seeing places I knew and being like, Gina, Jim, my friend Angie's the manager there. You know what I mean?
Remember, and I know her, remember?
I know.
Like,
Chicago's the smallest big city on earth.
It really
like,
is.
everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So what was that like to like walk out of your house and film in places that you go all the time?
Yeah. It was actually, I didn't really, it was funny. Like, I didn't, hard to believe, didn't really think about it that much. And so we shot in 7 weeks. And again, like, I know I say this all the time, but it was like my first it's my first professional job. I'd never been on a professional set of like for TV. I'd never, like, I've auditioned for shit and like A, suck at auditioning, and B, there are not a lot of roles for this old bitch. But also I suck at auditioning. So I don't want to be very clear. So, and we just wanted, it's just very Chicago without, like, I remember one of my best friends from high school was like, so are you going to be like showing Millennium Park? I'm like, we're not going to show, like, this is like Sears / Willis Tower, you know. It was just neighborhoods and walking around. And again, like, we've talked a lot, like we were also very like North Side, and like we're trying, you know, we have a lot of work to do in that. But anyway, so a lot of the stuff in my neighborhood was shot the last week. So it was like week 7. I mean, I think anybody who like dear, like close friends, like knew that I was just like, what's happening? And it was really strange to be like, I'm walking up the street and being like shooting a scene, and this is the walk I make every day when I go get coffee.
Yeah,
it was very strange, and it was like, too late. I mean, like, you know, what are you gonna
do people in the neighborhood recognize you?
You know, I gotta say, I've lived in like this neighborhood for like 25 years. So like, and so, you know, you see a lot of people every day. And I think maybe a little more, but also, you know, my therapist was like, we gotta, you know, your life's gonna change. I'm like, listen, this is a small show on a premium network at 10 p.m. on a Sunday. Nobody's gonna watch.
But you were on billboards. What's it like to see your face on a billboard? I would drop dead.
I never went to see one because it was too much. And I think I've done a lot of trying to protect my brain from like whatever's happening, just because it's all fake, right? Like if we had shot the show and like this billboard had my face on it, and then we didn't get renewed. Like, what, you know, in two years, people are like, bitch, who cares? You were on a billboard. Like, nothing is real. But crazily enough, and this is such a fucking cunty thing to say, but when I was in New York City for Colbert,
I saw you. I saw that.
I was so exhausted. I mean, again, so exhausted. I think all of us we started writing way earlier than any of us wanted to, because before like this pandemic, there was supposed to be a WGA strike. And so we were like, if we're gonna go, we gotta start writing before that. So we started way earlier than any of us would have liked. So we hadn't started writing yet, but it had just like, this was like, our show was still like on, like being, you know, whatever. It was, new episodes were still coming up, and it was right after, like, doesn't matter. Move on, Abby. It's hard for me. Hey, Sam. Anyways, and I was so exhausted to the point, like, I was just like, oh my God. And I got to my hotel room. I've never stayed in nicer hotel rooms. It's a really fucking crazy thing. I'm like, dang, this is nice. And I was like, I'm so tired and hungry. And all I want to do is go get, which is weird, some coffee. I'm not very smart. And then like some food, and then just go back, watch a TV show and fall asleep at like 8 p.m. And I knew there was one up near Times Square because some friends in New York were like, Abby, I can't believe it. And I was like, what, you know? And I was walking, and I don't know New York super well. And I was, again, super tired. And it was like 5:30 at night. It was very early. And I was like, and I saw this pink thing, and I was like, I think that's it. So I walked like a block, and I saw it, and I cried. But it's like, that's an embarrassing thing to share. Cause like you know, Sam, when people give you compliments and stuff, that's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard is like, it's hard. And also I am really one of the luckiest people. I have a lovely family, like a bio family that has always supported me. I have lovely friends who support me and believe in me. And it's hard because I don't know, but that was a moment. I looked at, I was like, whoa. And then I walked away because I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'd have to do one of these and then like run.
Yeah.
And
like,
somebody drive me past it, I'll look, and then luckily I can't act, so it's never going to
well, you haven't tried, so I don't believe that. But like, people are like, hey, why don't we go by and we'll take your picture? I'm like, I'm good. No, thanks.
No. Okay, we have a question from the audience.
Uh-oh. Oh boy.
No, it's good. Okay. It's good. And it'll like switch from this kind of sad thing to a not sad thing. Who are your comic heroes other than me?
Okay, well, let's move on to the next question. I mean, like heroes to me, like I you know, from childhood, it was Steve Martin. Mm-hmm. And there were 3 albums in particular. It was Let's Get Small.
Wait a minute. What's an album? I
know. LP, baby. You know, I had a dream that somebody gave me a record, and I was like, in the dream, I was like, I don't think I have a turntable. Anyways, so it was a comedy, whatever. So it was Wild and Crazy Guy, Let's Get Small, and Comedy's Not Pretty or something. And he would be on SNL every once in a while, and there was something really lovely and funny. I just found him hilarious. And then he had like, my dad is one of the funniest people in the world, and you know, and he loved Steve Martin too. It was just something we could share, even like when times were hard, you know. And I don't know, like you know, of course, Gilda Radner is one of, God bless, like brilliant. And I don't know. And then, you know, I have to say, like, I've been improvising in Chicago like over 25 years probably. And I remember when I was starting, like, I'd go to Second City and like IO and see like the house teams and like the main stage and ETC and be like, oh my gosh, you know. And then the longer I lived, that, you know, then I'd be friends with folks that were on those stages and doing shows and stuff. And it takes away, you know, but I have to say, I am bowled over by the talent in Chicago. And I perform with a team called Virgin Daiquiri at IO, and which has closed. So it's very hard. I haven't been able to process that yet. And some of my favorite times are being on the side and watching these wonderful women identified folks perform. And I don't know, I'm bowled over by the talent here. And so they have become like, there's so many people I could name that are like hero-esque. Yeah, I don't know.
No, that was a good answer.
Oh, wait, really? We'll talk after.
Okay. Okay, let's see. There's another question from Allison. Oh, that first one was from an Allison too. All right. Here's a different Allison. She says, you two are so in sync. How does it work when you're writing together on the show? Well,
it doesn't.
It's this. Everybody just bullshits around all the time. And then like Lilly reins us all in.
Okay.
I wrote this question. I said, the writer's room for season 2 was filled with comics and improv people. Looking back, was that a mistake?
No, absolutely not. It was the best.
It really is like, I've never worked on a drama, right? So it really is the most fun to be with people who are just cracking jokes all the time.
Right.
And just trying to make each other laugh. Like I would sit by Kate and just try to get her to break all day. And like there would be points in the day where I'd be like, are we gonna make a show? Because we keep fucking around. But
okay, well, but we got a lot done.
No, we did. And there's gonna be a season 2 somehow. We cobbled it together. But it is nice to like just, I don't want to say just hang out with people and laugh. But like it was nice to like vibe with funny people and just like do bits all the time and I occasionally do real work.
Okay, I think you're underselling the amount of work. Or also, we're learning a lot about the work you did. I'm just doing bits. But I would say like
see my episode and be like, we heard her say she didn't do shit.
What I would say is trusting people is very difficult for me. We don't have enough time to unpack it, and I kind of don't want to share that history. But it was so important. And also, this is a very vulnerable show for me, and it can, as you've seen, like in the room, it can be very difficult, and it's just a lot to handle. So when we set up the writer's room this year, like we set it up with 4 improvisers that I knew. 3 are my best friends. Tia and I love so much, but we don't know each other as well. But like Amanda Blake Davis, Kate James, Brendan Dowling, 3 of my very
Tia is now my best friend.
Okay.
And the faction against you.
I've got to work on that. And then, you know, we had like hoped that we could get you for season 2. And like, we had little text exchanges and Kate was like, it's gonna be okay. She'll like you. And I was like, I don't know. So I kind of, and just through your and I remember I told you, I saw you at the Hideout years and years and years ago. And
oh God.
You're very intimidating.
Why? I'm literally, anytime I perform, I'm truly telling the most humiliating things that have ever happened to me.
Everybody I tell about, they're like, oh my God, I'd be too nervous. And so we had you in the room, and because your writing is so personal and vulnerable, and we have we're obviously very different, but we do have some crossover, and there's kind of an inherent trust there, especially since we had talked and like texted a little, and then we hired this amazing writer out of LA named Jess, so the reason I think I was so free to laugh and because I trusted the people in that room, and it was necessary to have that for me to be able to share stuff. And Lilly, of course, the best. You know, we were pushed to like really go back earlier than we had hoped, and so some of the folks don't have writing credits. They have, together 120 years of comedic history, performance, or 100 years probably. And they are amazing writers, amazing performers, amazing comedians, amazing thinkers. But it's not like we could go to Showtime and like, look, we want to hire these people that have this thing. And it was like, and Lilly was like, hey, listen, this is vulnerable. Abby needs to trust people. We don't have time to do like this vetting process. These are people that we want in the room, and Showtime has been, fucking great to me. I mean, I'm so lucky and honored about that. But anyways, so the way it was set up was really a place that I was okay to laugh, even though this is a really, I mean, when your dreams come true, it's I don't ever want to be like, no, it's hard, because like, God, I'm the luckiest person in the world, but did I don't think I answered your question. Anyways.
I don't even remember what the question was.
Me neither.
Well, it was great.
Right.
I do think though, because I think about this as a person who writes about like deeply personal things. Once you turning that over to other people, like even, like people do all kind of weird shit to you out in the world. Like people will tell my stories back to me sometimes, like the time you went to the so-and-so and such, and I'm like, ugh! So the thought of like someone like handing your story over to another person, like it's a big deal to know that they'll do right by you, or to hope that they'll do right by you, and also have it be good, because someone could be like totally sensitive to you, like me, and write a totally bad thing like me.
Bullshit.
So we'll see.
Shut up.
Okay, Grace wants to know.
Grace! Is it Grace? Hi, Grace. Grace is a friend of mine.
Oh, good.
I
Okay.
think
What's been, this is for both of us.
Okay.
What's been the most rewarding part about putting such vulnerable personal stories out into the world? Okay, I'll answer.
Okay.
For me, maybe it'll cover your answer too. I would say that the reward is when someone connects with it and reaches out to say, thank you for doing that. Because like as even like the thing I put out in the world most confidently, right? The thing I'm like not scared of people to read. There's still a little part of me that's like, oh, I hope people like this. I hope someone benefits from this, or I hope it makes them laugh or moves them or whatever. And getting that feedback, especially on things that are like super painful, it's like, okay, that's why I do it. Because someone else out there needed to hear that.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think I'm protected in a way because Abby is a character, and we would laugh in the room because I'd be like,
no, it's real though.
Yeah, because and that's a protective way. So part of it is like people who watch the show don't know if that's me or the character, and so like that's a wonderful barrier, because I mean, it's so hypocritical, right? Because I'm so private. I've never had social media, and I really hate it, and we don't have enough time, and nobody wants to hear how much I fucking hate it, and I think it's evil, and it has ruined. Anyway, see, you're already like, okay. Anyways,
no, I was just
I know.
Every other day, I feel like I should delete my Twitter. I don't even tweet spicy shit, but just reading other people's spicy tweets like gives me agita, and I'm like, oh.
I just like I fucking hated it from the beginning. I hate it. I vitriolically hate it. So I love that story, because there have been some folks, and the fact that I'm not on that, and people can't send me hate, vitriol, or compliments, I'll take it, but I have met some people. It was funny. I was actually walking from my therapist, and a young queer person stopped me, and we talked, and I was like, sorry, I just, I was crying, I was just like, and I was like, oh, sorry, I just left my therapist, and they were like, me too. I'm like, right on. So and you hear that stuff, and that is very meaningful. And I have to say, I just have to say, it's not just me, right? It's like, it's Lilly, who is just a warrior and has made she has the power to make demands, and it's been so true to the show, and also so true to the the queer community, the other community, whatever filled that in, and we've been able to make those choices and demands. And it would have been a very different story if she wasn't associated. We wouldn't be on Showtime, and then might have never been made, but because of that, and I think we've been able to do some things the right way. And again, I always say, like, I always just try to be like, look, I know I fuck up. I know I fucked up. I know I will fuck up. It's, I want to learn. I want to learn and be better. And, I don't know.
That was a good answer. Okay, I'm going to end it on...
It's time? Aw.
Well, we could keep... I mean,
no,
the Humanities Festival is like...
They were like, you're done.
They're like, we're at work. You got to wrap it up. You bitches can call each other.
And then I'll go back to my reading nook.
First of all, I know you can't read, so just
Thank
hold
you.
it down.
I have to say, it was funny because I looked at it, I was like, oh, it kind of doesn't look bent enough, because I started reading it, and then I bought your audiobook because I was like, I have some attention stuff, and I was like, I'm better on audio. Continue.
You can't read. I know. All
right.
I am not going to ask like how quarantine is treating you, because I know,
yes,
like me, it's treating you fine. I love going anywhere. But
that's not the answer I would give, but go ahead.
I know. It's stressing you fuck out. But I want to know, like, what are you like watching or listening to? Or I always want to know what like creative people, especially, because like people always ask me that. Here's my like thing. People always ask me that, and then they like look at me like I'm gonna, say something like really deep, and I'm like, have you ever heard of this show called The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? And they're like, it's always like, I don't know, people think I watch PBS or whatever, like, I'm fucking stupid. Are you kidding? I watch bullshit. I watch 12 episodes of SVU I've seen.
Change your bio. Sam Irby does not watch PBS.
I'm serious. I'm like, listen, my work is like half cuss words. You think I'm a person who's like watching educational shit? No, I'm fucking watching Slender Man or whatever. Okay. So,
oh my gosh.
What have you been watching?
First of all, there's so much great content out there, and I'm way behind on shit from the past. Like, I've got to watch Deadwood, and I've got to watch The Wire, and whatever.
Oh, I haven't. The Wire is one of those things. The Wire and like Breaking Bad.
People are like, you better like it.
I know. I missed them when they were going around. The pressure to like them, is too high.
Yeah.
And also, I think they require like a skill I don't have, like a comprehensive chip that I don't have, where I'm like, who? What? Who is that? What did they sell? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I totally
agree. There is something like, if you're gonna get into a show that like is really like good, and but like it takes attention.
Yeah.
And it takes and sometimes, especially when I've gone through very bad depression times, breaks or like times or periods, and now, which has been, obviously it's hard for everybody, and I'm certainly not a snowflake in that. I often watch stuff I've watched before that I like, either comedies, like I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Veep. Veep is, so smart and funny, and also just once I watch something, then like watching it again isn't stressful because I know what's coming,
right.
and it helps relax my brain. I love, and this is really interesting, we've been talking about in the room, like crime procedurals are my jam, like Law and Order, Criminal Intent, Vincent D'Onofrio, he's so amazing. And then this is interesting to look back. It's like, wow, a lot of the shows I love are about police, and the police are the heroes and stuff. It's really, for me, and I think a lot of people are like, yeah, get on board, but it's really interesting conversations that we're having, and in my mind, I find it fascinating to be like, wow, rethinking the structures that you grew up in. Anyways, I started watching the show Lie to Me with Tim Roth. It was on, I think, Fox, and now it's on Hulu, and I love it. And it was funny because at first I don't know, I just really like it. My brother-in-law Pete and I have a lot of the same taste, so we'll text each other. I think you'll like this show. There was a show called Deadwater Fell on Acorn TV that I was really hyping at David Tennant. And
I don't even know what Acorn TV is.
It's a lot of British shows, and I am a British drama, crime, procedural, masterpiece, mystery bitch. So yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, so stuff like that. But often, like when I'm really like not in a great place and I just want to just like chill out, I'll rewatch Brooklyn Nine-Nines or The Mindy Project, which I really like. I watched Justified last year. It's phenomenal. I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's good. I like watching old stuff. My comfort movie, I mean, when I tell you I'm a dumbass, I'm not kidding. The other day I watched The Town like 3 times in a row.
I get so stressed though, you know, when they're there and then Jeremy Renner comes and he has his
and he has to put
there and then that's stressful, Sam. I can't watch that and chill out.
It is stressful once you know what's coming.
I mean, it still stresses me out. That's how fucked over I am. I'm messed up.
I also watch The Social Network a lot. I like that dark, like Fincher kind of, and Gone Girl, like creepy, but not real creepy kind of stuff. That and then like equally balanced with like housewife shit and Survivor, like shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I hate reality TV and so much, and I just hate it so much. I know everybody's like, what? It's just I fucking hate it. But I do like.
It's over between us.
I mean, you say that almost like 4 times a day. You're like, you like this? It's over. So
I like to be dramatic. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're very good at it.
Maybe I should have an acting career.
I've been trying to like, you know,
let's write me into season 2.
Okay, well, come up with your pitch for Monday. We start back with Sam on Monday to come in and so yeah, so we've like, you know, we're like, oh wow, we might shoot in September. So it's like taking this whole season, doing a lot of rewrites to make it. It's a little overwhelming. So yeah, that's what I mean. You got a lot of work to do. Come with a character.
I will, and if you don't accept her right away,
you're done with me.
I'm done with you. Should we end it there? That's a good place to stop.
Yeah, if I don't do something, you're gonna end it with me. I think that's a perfect place to end. Yes.
People are gonna be checking the credits for my name, and they'll be like, "Oh no, Sam actually did quit. We don't see her name."
Oh, you know what? I do have to say, this is the longest my hair has been forever, and it's very hard. It's very difficult. But a few, like maybe 3 weeks ago, Lilly was like. And one morning I woke, I had such bedhead. It was like Oompa Loompa hair. And I was like, oh gosh. And I said something and Lily was like, no, you know who you look like? Polly Walnuts from The Sopranos. And legit, it's true. So Polly Walnuts, peace.
I'm changing your name in my phone.
I mean, I can feel it move around. It's very distressing. Anyways.
It looks cute. I don't know how we end this. I feel like someone technical steps in.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it's like,
and then I think
should we make faces at each other?
Yeah. There